During a time of depression, have you ever wondered if something else was going on? That maybe there was some demonic influence, perhaps, some oppression going on that was weighing down on you and causing the depression? Well, today we are going to take a look at this, and what I want to help you to do is to understand what needs to be done in order for you to move out of a spell of depression where it feels particularly heavy and you're wondering if there's something demonic going on. Now, if you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Tanya Kordenbrock. I am the person behind arenewedlife.com. I am an emotional wholeness coach where I help women in my online Mastering Emotions program to be able to rewire their brains to break free from fear, anger, and shame, to love themselves, feel loved by others, and have a deeper relationship with God. And I hope right now that you will go ahead and subscribe so that you can receive more of these life renewing teachings. Every once in a while in my Mastering Emotions program, when women come in and they are struggling with very low self-esteem and depression, they get angry at themselves, they're feeling angry at others, and they're wondering what is going on. There's a part of them that feels like that it's just the enemy, that the devil or some type of demonic influence is coming into their life and causing this within them, causing this very deep depression to come upon them. And the place that I like to start with them is somewhere else. And so in this teaching today, I'm going to start at that place, because if you start in the place of with the belief that this is demonic, then you are not going to be able to get the healing, the true healing that you need. And this teaching today actually is quite personal, because it's a clip from a coaching call that I did with my members, but I was sharing with them my own depression that I have had for years, probably since childhood. And this depression stems from hurts that I received as a child, and that has shaped me in some ways. Now, this is something that I have received tremendous healing from due to the work that I have done within myself, the same teachings that I provide in the Mastering Emotions program. However, every once in a while, the depression comes back on me. Every once in a while, especially at nighttime, it's particularly severe. And then when that happens, then I know that something is going on. I need to be working on it diligently to get myself out of it. So in this teaching, in this clip, I share what I did in a recent period of my life when this depression was coming on me at night. Take a look at it, and then I will come back and give you some more points. This is a lot more personal, but I do like to share personal things with you to let you know that, there is none of us are in a place of perfection. None of us are in a place where we have our emotions all, under control. We all have emotions. We all struggle. We all have our woundedness and our places where we need healing. So one thing that has been problematic for me for my entire life is I would always get a deep, deep depression at night. And at the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020, this greatly increased. The severity of this depression really increased at night. I could feel fine all day long, but as soon as I started getting ready for bed, it would just come. It was like, it was suffocating. It was just like this heavy thing would just come down on me, and I couldn't hardly shake it off. So I began applying what we talk about in this program, in the Mastering Emotions program, of looking at what was going on inside of myself, what the real feelings were that I was feeling, the emotions that were there, because I could say, well, I'm depressed. Well, I also noticed some anger, I noticed shame, I noticed fear, and noticing also what those thoughts were that were coming to me, and thoughts of how other people view me, thoughts about my worth, envisioning the future and how horrible it was going to be, and but also noticing what was going on inside of my body. That, I think, was one of the biggest changes, because as we talk about in this program, sometimes you can't, um, we tend to have this tendency to want to start with our thoughts. Well, just don't think the way you're thinking. But that's not going to bring lasting change. And so we can't leave out the body and what's going on with the body. So I had to grab a hold of what was going on inside my body with these emotions that I was feeling, and did some opposites with that, with my posture, and also praying for, and I don't remember how it was impacting me, but praying for instance, if it was my heart, could have been my heart, I don't remember, but just putting my hand on my heart and just praying, for God to touch that, having a little bit of quiet, allowing the Holy Spirit to come to that place within me and bring healing. The Lord showed me how this was connected to some hurts and traumas from my childhood. And then also, so that helped to give me a greater understanding. But it also has, the intensity of it was so severe that it felt like it had some demonic influence. Now, I'm not one who will quickly go toward, well, this is from the enemy, and, rebuke the enemy and just move on. I want to look at the combination of what is going on. How much of this is just me, how I have been shaped from the hurts that have come my way in life. So that will need to be changed. Now, if I just suddenly, or just go first toward, oh, that's the enemy, and rebuke him, and keep doing that, that's some of that pattern that doesn't work, of trying to ignore things or push them away. I'm just not going to feel that way, I'm just not going to think that way, or that's just the devil, or demonic, or whatever, however you feel comfortable with phrasing it, but or viewing it. So if you just do that, then I'm not going to focus on me and create the change that needs to be seen there, that I'm desiring. But I did feel like at this time, because it was so intense, that there was some demonic influence of some type. And so I had some friends pray for me over it. And anyway, the point of this is that cleared up. And I remember now noticing it along the way, like, oh, wow, this is not as intense tonight. And then it gradually just got better and better and better and better. And so I also created some new routines at nighttime that have helped with that. The first thing that I want you to take from this teaching is not to start at the place of considering that your depression is caused by demonic oppression. This is because first of all, let me also say with that demonic activity is real. And as I'm assuming, if you're listening to this, that you believe in it somewhat. But if you don't, and you believe in Jesus, and you trust Jesus and what he had to say, Jesus most certainly believed in the demonic in demonic activity in the demonic realm. And he very forcefully came against it to defeat it. So regardless of what your beliefs are of how that shows up in a person's life, and especially how it shows up in a Christian's life, it is still present. But however, I still encourage you, and I encourage my Mastering Emotions members not to start at that place. Because if you do, then you're not going to get to the lasting healing that you need. If you have had a history of being depressed, maybe that it's not there all the time, or it could be, but that it frequently comes to you, then what this is a sign of that you have been shaped. Your brain, your mind, your neural pathways had been shaped to cope in this way, to go toward depressive thinking. That's nothing that you created on your own. You don't need to feel embarrassed about that. You don't need to feel ashamed of this. However, you do not have to feel like you are stuck there, like there's nothing that you can do about it, because there is. And what you want to do about it is what I did describe in that coaching call. And that is to change this response pattern and to create new neural pathways within your brain and in your body. You do that by first practicing mindfulness of the pattern and recognizing what is going on. Now, our tendency as Christians is to want to jump immediately to, we'll just change your thinking. Don't think those depressive thoughts. Instead, have faith and speak truth about who the Lord is and what he's doing in your life. I agree in that we need to hold on to truth. We need to hold on especially to the truth of the word. However, just doing that is oftentimes a problem for Christians, because what you're basically doing is trying to ignore what you're feeling and just pushing it aside. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't think this way. That is not going to bring lasting change. It might make you feel better in the moment, only in the moment. It is not going to bring lasting change. So what we're working on here is bringing this lasting change. So you're going to notice the pattern, and you're going to, what the parts to the pattern are your emotions. What are you feeling? And don't just go with depressed. Look at what's under it. Oftentimes under depression is anger. There can be caused by hurt, caused by disappointment, caused by hopelessness, and look for that hopelessness, look for shame, look for fear, and name what it is that you are feeling. Try to learn how to recognize those underlying emotions. Then with those emotions, what are the thoughts that are coming to you? Thoughts about yourself, thoughts about others, thoughts about God, thoughts about the world and the way life works, and about your future. Then also, and here's a very important point, pay attention to what's going on within your body, because that neural pathway goes from your brain down into your body, and that it is all connected. Instead of just jumping to your emotions, don't feel the way I'm feeling, or jumping to your thoughts, don't you think the way I'm thinking. You can also approach this by looking at what's going on within your body. Look at your posture, look at your breathing, look at your actions of what you're doing. If you are inactive, if you're frozen, then get moving, of some type of movement, just wiggling around, dancing, doing an activity. That changes that pattern. So this is using some attentiveness to what is going on with you, and that can help you to start moving out of the depressive pattern and response pattern that is taking place within you. Please let me know in the comments your thoughts on this, and if you found it helpful, please share it with others. And I want to just let you know that I would just love to have you in my Mastering Emotions program, where I can help you further, where I can bring together biblical truths that have come from my own theological training, along with neuropsychological principles that have come from my training in trauma therapy. I bring all of that together to help you. And also, I have for you today a free resource to help you become more aware of the thinking that is going on in your head. I will provide a link to that, and you can get started on it today. Bye now.